Hey, baby sister, you're welcome on the show.
Baby sister.
You are not
baby sister.
You are not my baby sister.
Yes.
So, say it again.
Are you on, as the program started?
Yeah, it has started.
Okay. Hello, baby sister. When it's a man, they see the person as passionate. You understand?
But when it's
a
woman,
female, she's an angry woman. She's not. Because it's not what is expected, because society has created a mental image, or they've created an image of what a woman should be. To say that I have not experienced a terrible female or male boss, to say is not to say that other people within my organization have not perceived the bosses I felt or perceived were okay as terrible. Oh, did I say I've not had a terrible boss?
I was wondering.
I have. No, my memory. I have had two. I have had two terrible bosses. But And I heard this person going down the stairs, stomping down the staircase and shouting, "I would hit you! I would." Do you understand? To a member of staff. And that scared me. That was the day I made the decision that I tell you, do this, prioritize this now. And you're telling me I'm going to get to it. What do you mean you're going to get to it? I have more information than you do. So if I tell you to prioritize this, it's because you need to prioritize this now. Not that, I'm a man. You cannot talk to me like that. If you are the man, you need to double your hustle so that you be the boss of me.
The next thing I heard is, shut up. When the man is working,
I was like, the women are bossing really hard these days. Look at the banks. Look at GTB, look at Access Bank, look at Fidelity. Their MDs and their CEOs are women. Look at TBC. Yes, do you understand? The women are bossing really hard. And
It is the EBUN Show, a talk show for women and the men who love them. I am Ebunlomo. Do women make bad bosses? Imagine walking into a meeting room filled with powerful women who seem to have everything well put together. But underneath the surface, there is this tension, an underlying tension that can either undermine or add up to the success of the organization. In this episode, we're going to be discussing this topic, which is both provocative and profound. Do women make bad bosses? Joining me is Janet Olanrewaju, my younger sister, who I believe is doing pretty well in her career. You're welcome on the show. Everybody welcome my baby sister on the show again.
Everybody welcome my baby sister
on the show again. You always say this is about Pennico. They will know who the baby sister is.
Who looks bigger?
It's not about
big
bigger.
Sister, little sister. Let's go.
So, meet my baby sister. Ola, we call her Ola. I think people outside call you what?
There's Janet, there's Larry. Depends on the level of familiarity.
Abi, you have multiple personalities.
Absolutely. Don't we all? Like, everyone has multiple personalities, right? Like, you're different things to different people.
But Sha should not bother on bipolar.
No.
Okay, so
we are keeping it's managed.
It's managed, right?
Yeah.
Really, like everybody. That's not the topic for today, but everybody has a bit of everything. It's just how you let it come to the fore, and they don't begin to talk to each other.
I do not believe it exactly, but there's this page on Instagram that says all of us are not okay. And in little bit, okay, sorry, off topic.
When we get outside, Ola she looks mature.
I am mature. Carry on.
Hold on. She looks mature, like officey. She's all in jackets. I'm quite the opposite because I don't like looking too serious. Like, let's throw the colors, let's play some more and all of that. And I think that part of you has actually flowed into you being an office person, pursuing a career in serious environmental offices, because you can pursue career in informal settings.
Yes.
And that's why we thought you a good candidate for this topic.
I am the best candidate for this topic.
What is your problem?
ad-lipping. Carry on.
So, have you experienced a bad female boss? And has it shaped your perception about women leadership?
Absolutely not. I've not had a bad boss yet, in general. Be it the boss, be it the manager, male or female, I've not had a bad boss yet. Would there be disagreements, right, in the workplace? Absolutely. Would people say things that you possibly do not agree with in the moment, or you do not like in that moment? Yes, because you're a human being.
So you've not met an irrational person as a boss?
No, not yet. But I hear it all the time, that women are terrible managers, women are terrible bosses. And to say that is to say that human beings make terrible bosses, right? Because it's such a generic and all-encompassing statement to make. Just like you have terrible male bosses, you have terrible female bosses. And just like you have amazing male bosses, you have amazing female bosses as well. I think the root of the perception is that there is an expectation of the gender. You know, like they say that, let me use basketball as an analogy. When people see female basketballers being aggressive on the court, or when they see their coaches getting angry or throwing a chair or something, when it's a man, they see the person as passionate, you understand?
But when it's
a female, she's an angry woman, she's not, because it's not what is expected, because society has created a mental image, or they've created an image of what a woman should be, how she should behave, how she should speak. And when someone acts out of that box that has been created for them by society, it is seen as the oddity.
Now, let me cut. Yes, I agree with what you've said, but I have had an irrational boss. Yes, which I believe could have been a male, but I think being a female contributed to it. It was when I was working as like I was starting a consultant for a makeup studio.
Yes.
And then I met this person. You're already laughing because you know the story. Yes. And I met this lady who, from the outside, I respect her because she's been able to do so much for herself. She has like 3 outfits. This makeup artist, this makeup shop wasn't even like the standard that everybody used to have. You know, it was big. I was excited to be there. You can imagine leaving my broadcasting job to go and start with some, because of course I had a vision to want to start my own. So I wanted to actually give it my all. But then it was eventually I felt that she had inferiority complex because she couldn't express herself well. Of course, she didn't know makeup artistry, so she was depending so much on me. But it got to a time where I was confused at first, because people come into the studio and I'm here thinking that I'm doing great customer service, like, you're welcome to our makeup studio.
And you were speaking too much English.
And and my boss is somewhere, and I just look over my shoulder and I see someone
giving you the evil eye.
You know, not once, not twice. And then I get home, of course, to gist my husband, you, and all of that. It was my husband who said, whenever anybody comes in, defer to her. Of course, I didn't have to defer to her because most times she's not even there. So I'm that person that everybody would meet. So she just breezes in once in a while because she has to be at other places. And then my husband says, whenever she's around, after greeting these people, say, meet the owner of this. I mean, you are the owner. I didn't know I had to be doing that with everybody. So the first time I did it, she was like, but when you're necessary, you don't have
but
to.
She likes
it. Oh God, you should have spelled it out from the beginning, because I didn't know. Because it wasn't a usual thing. It's like you walk into an office and then you're saying, this is our CEO to everybody who comes. Like, I mean, it wasn't something I knew to do at the time. But eventually I said, then she had this very typical gutter behavior, you know, like she takes money from the account. We say, ma, this money has to be remitted so that our account will be. Am I not the one that bought for? You know, she wasn't going to run it as. So I want to say on our part, maybe education was a problem for her. But of course, we have had, and I think in that case, women can be funny. Yes, because there's the hormones. on a day when a woman has cramps, has terrible menstrual, some do not know how to manage it. So I know, so when we say that people have these experiences, it's good for you that you've not had it. Right?
No, so it's very valid that people have terrible experiences. And the fact that I have not experienced it does not change the fact that a lot of people have experienced terrible female bosses. And it is the way I see the workplace. To tell you the truth, to say that I have not experienced a terrible female or male boss, to say is not to say that other people within my organization have not perceived the bosses I felt or perceived were okay as terrible. Do you understand? Because different people are different to like what they appear or who they are to you is not who they are to someone else. And that does not therefore invalidate the experiences of other people. Take your case, for instance. It was a situation where you then had to learn to navigate around this person. Like, okay, I have to tiptoe around this person. And it gets to, oh, did I say I've not had a terrible boss?
I was wondering.
I have, no, my memory. I have had two. I have had two terrible bosses. But
No, at some point, I was going to say, are you being real right now? Or you just wanted to put it out that women are like this?
No. So
both men.
of them, those two bosses are male bosses. I've had two terrible male bosses. There was one, I worked in that organization for just 3 months. This person was never rude to me, but the person was probably because of the personality or how I carried myself within the organization. But the person was rude to literally every other person, those that had been there longer. And in my mind, I was like, it's just a little while that is remaining for me too. That do you understand? They will start treating me the same way. I remember there was a particular occasion where the offices were upstairs, and of course there's another office downstairs, and we had wooden staircase, and I heard this person going down the staircase, stomping down the staircase and shouting, I would hit you, do you understand, to a member of staff. And that scared me. That was the day I made the decision that this will not happen. Imagine someone shouting at me like that. I don't know what will happen. I could either cry or shout back at the person. You understand? So I have had terrible bosses, and I feel that
it's not a woman thing.
No, it is not. And I've heard of friends who have said they had terrible female bosses. You are my sister. You had a terrible female boss. So what I think is that it is a human thing. Who is whether male or female, you meet terrible people. It results from different things: the inability to handle issues appropriately, their perception of how you should behave that you've not behaved. And one thing I hate when they're talking about female bosses is that once a woman asserts herself in a certain way, they'll say, or when she talks to someone, probably she's on her period. Even in the workplace.
So it is about the society's perception of the woman, or the expectation of the society from which gender should be the boss?
Absolutely, I think so. Because nobody can tell me that they have not seen their male bosses act out. Nobody can tell me that. Why is it that you take much more offense when your female boss acts out? Or when nobody should act out in the workplace, but when your female boss says, do this way, and in your mind you're thinking, I have your type at home that cannot talk to me like that. Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, men do not want to differ to a woman.
Do not want to differ. So I'll give you an example. I've worked with someone who was reporting to me, and I'll tell this person because I have more information than you do. Do you understand? I'm the one managing you. So I tell you, do this, prioritize this now, and you're telling me I'm going to get to it. What do you mean you're going to get to it? I have more information than you do. So if I tell you to prioritize this, it's because you need to prioritize this now. Not that, I'm a man, you cannot talk to me like that. If you are the man, you need to double your hustle so that you be the boss of me.
There was a day I even employed some men for, is it menial job they call it?
Yes.
And then they were doing it the wrong way. I cannot take a shift from, my eyes will not go off it.
Yeah.
So, of course, they were elderly. So I said, Baba, you have not done this the right way. You know all this corner cutting and all of that? No, you have not done it the right way. And I said, And the next thing I heard is, shut up. When the man is walking, I couldn't hold myself. Like, what do you mean? I'm going to pay you. Like, if your madness should have come into play to say you cannot collect money from my hand, but that I now ask you to do my work the way you're supposed to do it, and then you begin to say you are the man. So yes, while I want to agree that there would be some terrible female bosses, I think the society's perception, chauvinism, is still very much in play, where they would not even want the woman to succeed. You can imagine if the woman is the boss of everybody and you have male, there could be a ganging up against the woman. Like, okay, we'll make the work flop, we'll make the project flop, you know? And or maybe, okay, in my case, presently at my workplace, I'm the only female on the team. There was a day I was on the call and they said, "You are beginning to sound like a man." I'm like, I didn't even know how to place that. Like, do I need
the woman sound?
No, do I even need to sound? Because I'm in your midst now. In your head, you probably can't comprehend that there's still a female who brings that,
the ideas are too good to be female.
Do you
Is that what they're thinking?
I don't even know. I didn't know how to place it. But I think we're gisting too much. Let's get to the talk of the female themselves.
Okay.
Because I've had issues when I was on TV. It was shifts. Someone would have to take over from you. And in the broadcasting world, as it should be anyway, the person who is coming to take over from you is not there yet. You cannot leave, right? And whenever it was a woman I was handing over to, there was an issue. You know, and there's always this excuse, I had to take my children I had to do this, I had to do that. My question is, how is being a woman and handling a family affecting in the workplace? Because you find some employers not wanting to employ a woman.
I think there was a case a while back in a banking setting where a few women were laid off just after they got married because their employer at the time felt that they would soon start giving birth and all the trouble would start. So before they crossed that bridge, they just let them go. Are there areas where women need to do better? 100%. Because I feel that we have made a lot of advances in the corporate space where organizations because the situation for male and female are totally different. We can all agree on that. The woman who, although it's supposed to be a joint effort, but a lot of it relies on, like, taking care of the home, taking care of the children, relies on the woman. We cannot, it is the truth, do you understand? So organizations have come to the realization, some good organizations have come to the realization that they need to make a few exceptions for women. But that does not give you the opportunity also to then take it for granted. You have a job to do. Some organizations have resumption time. You come late. You are the one who is making excuses that you have to leave early. You are the one who has a target that you do not meet. You are the one who, do you understand? You are the one who is always asking, oh, some emergency has come up. Can you please help me finish this job? There's nothing you finish. It means that, so if you're not getting promoted, there's a reason why you're not getting promoted. Because there are people, male or female, who deliver constantly on their jobs. You say like, oh, they are promoting the single women. You say that, oh, they are promoting the men, but they are not promoting you just because you have children. The results. At the end of the day, the organization is going to judge who should get promoted based on your job. You know, but if you look at it, the women are bossing really hard these days. Look at the banks. Look at GTB, look at Access Bank, look at Fidelity. Their MDs and their CEOs are women. Look at TVC. Yes, do you understand? The women are bossing really hard. And I think it should be motivation for more women that and if you look at most of those women, they have amazing homes. You know, look at
so it is not, the home front is not an excuse for not doing well in your career.
It is not an excuse, but if you look at those women, oftentimes they have a lot of support, right? Unfortunately, not everyone has the same opportunities that those women have had. I think it is EBUN that usually gives accolades, you know, to our mother-in-law who stayed with her family to take care of the children while she pursued some other things. You know, so oftentimes when you look at these women that are doing amazing in the workplaces, in corporate places, it's because they have some level of support that allows them to do that.
And now this is speaking directly to some men who have been insensitive over time. I met someone recently who was saying I was giving me accolades and how I'm doing well for myself. I'm a software tester, I'm doing the EBUN show, but his wife is not doing so much. Now, you can hear it. As I'm recording now, my husband is in the studio. The children are there. I've not had to attend to my children once. He's been the one doing that. And then it's just funny how the man expects full-fledged woman in the home and still expects such a woman. You are not supporting the woman. And then you're comparing her to a woman who has supports.
Yes.
You know, because I hear lots of useless comments. She doesn't do anything. She can't. Being a housewife is a full-day's job, a full-time job.
Yes.
So if you really want your wife to be doing well in her career, you have to be able to take up some responsibility. Absolutely. You cannot pay for maid. You cannot do chores. How do you want the woman to do it? Let's get to it.
Even the organizations where women are prospering, there are some things that those organizations or the organizations that the women are coming from have done. A great example comes to mind of Yinka Adeboye, who I think is the MD, Managing Director of Cadbury in Nigeria. I think she's the first female MD of Cadbury in its history. And her testimony is that there was a time when she was working where an organization, she was supposed to travel, she had just given birth, our organization paid for our nanny to go along with her. Do you understand? So when you see these women emerge as the CEO of the organization itself has invested in them as well. Do you understand? So oftentimes what I'm driving at is that female bosses do not just emerge.
Yeah.
Female bosses are made. A lot of people have contributed to their making. And it must mean that they themselves, because we have deviated a little bit.
No, it's okay because it has to be holistic. But I want us to get to we women matter ourselves.
Yes.
Have you experienced getting into an organization? Maybe you're resuming for the first time and you enter well-dressed, well-spoken, and then without anybody talking, you enter into the midst of women. You could sense that there's an issue. Has it happened to you? Women just have beef for themselves.
For no reason.
For no reason.
Yes, it has happened. Most women, I'll tell you, most women are amazing. Most women that I meet in the workplace are amazing and supportive. But there's always that one or two odd one out. There was a recent issue that I was sharing with you. I know it comes to mind easily for you. I joined an organization, and then this person was this person was giving me attitude. Do you understand? It was not just attitude, it was giving direction that I felt were unreasonable. Particularly because I just joined. You give someone grace, you understand? And I see, particularly because when you join a new organization, you take hints from what you see other people doing. And I see other people doing this, and it's absolutely fine. Then I do the same thing, which is not wrong. Probably sit in a particular space, and you be like, oh, you cannot sit there. And I'm like, what's happening? Then I told you that I feel that this person is acting funny. And you told me that the next time this person does it, address the issue. I did. I addressed the issue. That day, it was back, it was back and forth.
I'm not saying fight.
It's not fight. No, you nip it in the bud. You nip it in the bud. She said, you should know. I said, why is it written that I should not do this? She said, you should know. I said, know how? I addressed it, and since that day, it has stopped,
But I think we ladies need to start redirecting the energy, not to stifle another female worker just because you feel, even if you are dating the boss, that's your cup of tea. I think if you feel, yes.
Within organizations, what you said there is very important. Respect goes both ways, and I think we can communicate effectively with one another. It's not that you will not be annoyed with the person. I think sometimes women have issues where they have an issue with someone and they just put it to their chest and start acting out. Say it. I'll tell you what happened very recently, just this past week with my colleague. I offended a colleague of mine. You know, there was a situation where I had to walk out of the office, and then over there where I was, they were frustrating me. I put a call through to her for some support. I didn't like what she was saying, so I just hung up the call, you know. And then she texted me that, Janet, you hung up the call on me. I think that was rude. Was it valid? Yes. Do you understand? And I have to say that I am so sorry that I hung up on you. This was the situation. Do you understand? So that line of opening that line of communication, she could have held that and said she's rude, and that's it. But we had a great relationship up until that point, and I expect that we would continue to have a great relationship even after that. The issue is that sometimes women do not communicate. Exactly. You are offended. Say it in a very polite way, either to your female colleague or to your male colleague.
Now, here's the point. We ladies can be emotional, too emotional. Communication, there is official communication. Yeah. When you get home, take your emotion. I'm not saying do not bring your humanness into the workspace, but I mean all these silly and petty things, we ladies can be petty. You know, because we must be able to tell ourselves the things we do wrong and what some of our stumbling blocks are. Do not be too emotional. I too do it sometimes. When I work, and I'm like, I'm tired. But I go back, like, if I'm frustrated, I go to my husband. Like, and he says, just go back. Or sometimes, maybe when I do not trust myself with emotions, I'm like, tell me, just signal when I'm going, because sometimes I'm pitching already. That's not the intention, and I do not know. So let us learn, because if we do not acknowledge, we would not be able to address these issues. Let's take emotions out of work. Nobody
hates you. It is on the work. It is the job. You disagree on the job, you would resolve it on the job. And do not
expect to be dealt a softer hand. Work is work. Your bosses want profits. They have targets. Everybody is there to make money. So do not expect your male colleague is expected to do certain things. You want the same position, yet you want them to be softer at you. It's either you're strong or you go home. Let's round off. That's an advice from you.
Advice. I think you just gave the advice now.
Okay.
You are seeing the females that are bossing. You want to be like them. There's a person. Don't say that is who I am. I hate hearing that word from both male or female. It is who I am. This is how I talk. I hate it. You understand? Why don't you talk to your parents like that? Why don't you? Do you understand? It's because you think you can belittle the person that you're speaking with. You understand? All of us are acting. When you are at the workplace, you act formal, which means you cannot insult someone. When you're with your friends, you act friendly. Your colleagues, eventually some colleagues might become your friend, but your colleagues are not your friend. Your colleagues are your colleagues, and you have to deal with them with respect.
We have to go. But finally, one thing you say some bosses could be rude to other people, but there's a way they come to you and they don't do that way. It matters how you carry yourself in the workplace. Sometimes it involves some form of acting. Dress well. There's sometimes that I have different Englishes for different settings. I want you to respond to me in a certain way, I go this way. But when I'm with my friends, the English changes. But really, your dressing, your attitude, your disposition to work, carry yourself well, and it would matter how others differ to you. And that's it on the show. We'll be expecting you in the comment section. Thank you.
If you don't tell Jesus good morning, you cannot tell another person good morning. Then buying clothes. There was just this constant Christmas clothes, even if the clothes was big. And the shoe was big because that clothes
because you meet it.
Yes, the clothes has to last you for a whole year.
Every first day of the year, everybody has to eat in the same plates. It had to be pounded yam and egusi, you know. So everybody will eat from the same bowl. You cannot, as in, where are you going?
Yes, there's something my husband do. He has been trying, really. He has been to every appointment for our children, immunization from baby till even now that they are older. So we don't shut down. So the idea that you're a boy, you can't cry. My dear, cry.
Cry. Men cry.
Yes. Sometimes when my son is crying, I say, should I help him to cry more?